This is the laziest person's guide to discipline. Yeah, you heard that right. Lazy used to be the king of procrastination. Big dreams, half-finished projects, scattered around my room like tumbleweeds. The whole shebang. You know the drill. Scroll through social media for just a few minutes to relax after a long day of, well, not much. Suddenly, 2 hours have vanished. You're feeling even worse than before, and that to-do list is mocking you from across the room. Ugh, been there. In the worst part, I'd always tell myself, I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow never came, and guess what? I ended up feeling even worse. Depressed, unproductive, stuck in this loop of wanting to do things, but never actually doing them. See, I spent years reading books, articles, even attending seminars, all in the name of becoming disciplined. But guess what? Turns out discipline doesn't have to be a punishment. Believe it or not, there's a way to get results without feeling like you're always struggling and stressed out. For the longest time, I thought discipline was this constant struggle, like forcing yourself to wake up at the crack of dawn, even when you're exhausted, or having to work through dull tasks until you feel like shouting out in frustration. Ugh, no thanks. But here's the thing, that's not what discipline has to be. In fact, by the end of this video, you'll see that it can actually be your secret weapon to getting things done and feeling awesome about yourself. That's why I made this video. I cracked the code on discipline for lazy people like me. And trust me, if I can do it, anyone can. By the end, you'll have some seriously actionable tips to finally break free from the cycle and become more productive. First things first, let's talk about what we even mean by discipline. What does it look like to you? Is it waking up early? Finally, finishing that side hustle? Whatever it is, let's chat about it and see how we can turn you from a lazy bum into a total productivity powerhouse. All right, I need your attention. Picture this. You've just finished talking about how you always end up postponing tasks and it makes you feel really down. You know you want to get stuff done, to finally finish those projects and reach your goals. But that giant pile of stuff on your to-do list looks impossible. It's like staring down a huge dinner when you're already stuffed from chips and salsa. Ugh, overwhelming, right? Here's the thing. That's exactly where most people get stuck. They try to do everything at once, which leads to feeling fried before they even begin. But that's not the go part of the story. The real go starts with a tiny move. We're talking baby steps here, folks. It's not about forcing yourself into a whole new you overnight. Remember, we're all about ditching the hold on for dear life approach to getting things done. Instead, pick one small thing from your to-do list. Something so small it seems almost silly. Maybe it's clearing off your desk for just 5 minutes. Maybe it's writing down one key point for that presentation due next week. Just one tiny step. That's your go. This is where the magic happens, because guess what? Once you complete that small task, a funny thing happens. You feel a burst of, I did it, no matter how little it might seem. It's like a tiny spark lighting a fire. And that, my friend, is the forward motion you need to keep going. All right, so you finished that small task and you're feeling pretty good. Cool. But guess what? This isn't a one-time thing just yet. You might feel a little lost at first, like, okay, I cleaned my desk, now what? That's totally normal. This is the search part of the adventure, like exploring a new town. You gotta figure out where the cool streets are and what works best for you. This is where you get to experiment and see what keeps you feeling pumped. Maybe you find that blasting some tunes helps you focus like a laser. Maybe crossing things off a list gives you a happy little thrill. The key is to try different things and see what keeps that I crushed it feeling rolling. It's all about finding what works for you, not some boring textbook definition of discipline. All right? We've talked about conquering that first tiny task, exploring what keeps you motivated, and even dusting yourself off after a setback. But here's the secret weapon that will truly turn you into a productivity powerhouse. Remember that feeling of accomplishment after completing that small task? That's the magic of consistency. as James Clear writes in his book, Atomic Habits. It's the compound interest of tiny improvements. Small daily actions add up over time, making a massive difference in the long run. Think about it like this. Imagine you want to climb a mountain. You could try to sprint to the top in one go, but you'd probably burn out halfway up. Instead, the key is taking consistent steps day after day. Sure, some days you might only make a little progress, but eventually you'll reach the summit. The same goes for your goals. Don't get discouraged if you don't see results overnight. Building new habits and achieving big things takes time. Here's a quote by golfer Walter Hagen that perfectly captures this idea. The more I practice, the luckier I get. The good news? Consistency is a muscle you can strengthen. The more you stick to your routine, the easier it becomes. Maybe you commit to working on your side hustle for 30 minutes every day, or dedicate a specific time each week to planning your projects. Whatever it is, small, consistent actions are the key to unlocking long-term success. But what about those days when you just don't feel like it? That's where persistence comes in. There will be times when motivation dips, and that's perfectly normal. The key is to develop the grit to keep going, even when it's tough. Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, talks about the importance of showing up. Even if you don't feel like doing your best work, simply showing up and putting in the time is a victory. Persistence is about pushing through those moments of resistance and staying committed to your goals, no matter what. Remember, adventurers, consistency and persistence are your greatest allies on the path to productivity domination. Take small, daily actions, celebrate your wins, and don't give up when the going gets tough. With consistent effort and unwavering persistence, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. All right, adventurers, we've talked about the power of consistency and persistence, but let's face it, sometimes that pesky procrastination monster rears its ugly head. We've all been there, that giant to-do list staring us down, tempting us to scroll through social media instead. But fear not, brave adventurers. There are weapons in your arsenal to slay the procrastination beast. Here are a few battle-tested strategies. First, let's break down those big, scary tasks into bite-sized pieces. Remember that mountain we talked about climbing earlier? A giant wall of tasks can feel just as daunting. Following the advice of author Gretchen Rubin in Better Than Before, try chunking down your projects into smaller, more manageable steps. This makes them seem less overwhelming and helps you get that initial burst of momentum. Second, deadlines are your friend. Sometimes a little external pressure can be just the push you need to get started. Set realistic deadlines for each step of your project and hold yourself accountable. Treat them like important appointments you can't miss. Third, consider creating an accountability system. Find a buddy who's also working on a goal and check in with each other regularly. There's something powerful about knowing someone else is counting on you. You can even use apps or online tools to track your progress and stay motivated. Here's a bonus tip. Sometimes the best way to overcome procrastination is to simply start. Set a timer for just 5 minutes and tell yourself you'll work on a task for that short period. Often, you'll find yourself getting sucked into the work and accomplishing more than you anticipated. Procrastination is a natural human tendency. The key is to have a few battle plans in your arsenal to keep it at bay. By breaking down tasks, setting deadlines, and creating accountability, you can conquer procrastination and become a productivity powerhouse. All right, now let's talk about the most important part, goal setting. Setting SMART goals is like creating your own personalized map to success. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Specific. Don't just say, get healthy. Aim for walk 30 minutes 3 times a week. Measurable. Track your progress with a pedometer or app. Achievable. Set a goal that challenges you, but is still possible. Relevant. Make sure your goals align with your overall desires. Time-bound. Give yourself a deadline to reach your goal. Tracking your progress is like checking your map along the way. Celebrate milestones like hitting that first week of walking. Remember, the path may shift a bit, so don't be afraid to adjust your goals as needed. This is your adventure, after all. All right, folks, that's it. You now have the code to crack laziness and become a productivity pro. Remember, tiny steps, killer consistency, and a sprinkle of get-it-done attitude are your secret weapons. Conquer that procrastination beast, set those smart goals, and watch your productivity soar. Want to see more epic adventures on the path to productivity domination? Smash that like button and subscribe for more. Until next time, keep crushing those goals.